A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hong Kong FinTech Week 2024. Our event is about to begin. Please take your seats as quickly as possible. Thank you. What an exciting and thumping performance to kickstart Hong Kong FinTech Week. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for our performers. Distinguished guests, industry leaders, innovators, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and welcome to the 9th edition of Hong Kong FinTech Week. My name is Robin Lamsam and I'm delighted to be your host on this very special occasion. As we gather here today, let us remember that the success of our FinTech ecosystem is a collective effort. The collaboration between the government, the public sector, and private enterprises has been pivotal in fostering an environment where innovation can thrive, complementing this year's theme, illuminating new pathways in FinTech. We would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our event organizers, the Financial Services and the Treasury Bureau, and Invest Hong Kong of the Hong Kong SAR government. Co-organizers, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, Securities and Futures Commission, and Insurance Authority, and our officially appointed event organizer, Finiverse, for putting together this incredible lineup, as well as our partners and sponsors for their tremendous support. Over the coming days, get ready to be inspired, challenged, and connected. We will delve into the latest developments in AI, blockchain technology, digital currencies, and regulatory technology. We will engage in insightful discussions, forge valuable partnerships, and collectively shape the future of finance. Hong Kong FinTech Week serves as an opportunity to learn, collaborate, and innovate. Together, we can unlock the transformative power of FinTech and create a more inclusive, efficient, and sustainable financial landscape for all. But before we continue, we'd like to extend a very warm welcome not only to everyone present, but also to the millions of international viewers watching virtually. Do remember to download the event app Hong Kong FinTech Week 2024 for networking purposes and to view our conference programs, speaker bios, and panel synopses. You would have received an email containing details on the Brella app, and if you need further assistance, we have an event app help desk outside in the main corridor. And finally, simultaneous translation is available here at Hong Kong FinTech Week. Headsets are available to the side of the stage. Channel 1 will be in English, and Channel 2 will be in Mandarin. And now, without further ado, to kick off Hong Kong FinTech Week 2024, please give a warm welcome to the Honourable Mr. Paul Chan, Financial Secretary of the Government of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Mr. Chan.
Director Xu Weigang, Director Fu Xiaochuo, Chris Salina, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. And welcome to Hong Kong FinTech Week 2024. And a very special welcome to the innovators, founders, investors, and delegations from over 100 countries and regions. Hong Kong is emerging fast as one of the most attractive global FinTech hubs. In the first half of this year, among the top 10 FinTech deals in the Asia-Pacific region, 3 were in the mainland and 2 in Hong Kong. That means, ladies and gentlemen, you are in the right spot in searching for the FinTech opportunities that lie ahead. Our latest figures tell the vibrancy of our ecosystem. At present, we house more than 1,100 FinTech and Web3 companies, an increase of about 15% from the figure last year. Many of these companies are coming from outside Hong Kong. This year, the 60 companies that Invest Hong Kong has assisted are bringing in investments exceeding $2.4 billion US. Indeed, during my recent trips to Australia, Europe, and the United States, many FinTech and other startups have shown great interest in coming to this city to establish their business. Hong Kong's open, free, diverse environment and burgeoning innovation and technology ecosystem, full range of financial services, deep talent pool, pro-business, pro-innovation regulatory system, the Greater Bay Area and the Greater China application scenarios, and the ability to connect both China and the world are clear points of attraction. Not only are we attracting US, Europe, and mainland fintech firms, we are reaching out to the Middle East too. This afternoon, I will be leading a delegation of more than 100 members from the Hong Kong financial and innovation circles to Saudi Arabia. One of our local startups will be signing a deal with its Saudi counterpart there. Big companies and big numbers aside, the core element of a vibrant fintech ecosystem is the entrepreneurship of fintech startups. In other words, the drive for excellency, the will to make financial services more competitive, inclusive, and accessible, and ultimately, to make our lives better. Hong Kong has no lack of such fintech startups with these visions and spirit. I'm sure you will be able to meet many of them in the FinTech Week. At this same event last year, I talked about a fintech company nurtured in our science park, using AI and big data to power a credit risk model, helping SMEs to obtain bank loans without the necessity of providing collaterals. That company, I'm pleased to know, had obtained facilities from global banks worth some $750 million in just 1 year's time. With such financial backing, this startup has truly made impactful contributions to the SMEs and to the real economy. Looking to the future, two areas are definitely dominating the scene of fintech: blockchain and AI. For both, the government holds the same principle. We embrace new technologies as they unlock new innovations in the financial world. Yet we are mindful of the possible risks they may create to consumers, investors, and the financial system at large. That is why a balanced, proportionate regulation is necessary, which is good for their sustainable and healthy development in the long term. Take digital assets as an example. That is why we have put in place a licensing regime last year for digital asset trading platforms based on the same activity, same risk, same regulation principle. Among the licensing conditions are segregating clients' money, conducting due diligence on virtual asset products, and taking on anti-money laundering obligations. We have issued 3 licenses so far. Meanwhile, the SFC is assessing the legal and regulatory compliance of those deemed service providers. We expect more licenses will be issued in the next couple of months. As to stablecoins, the Hong Kong MA has already launched a stablecoin issuer sandbox in March to allow interested parties to conduct testing and facilitate two-way communications on the proposed regulatory requirements, ensuring that such requirements are fit for purpose. It is our plan to introduce the legislation this year. We are also reviewing the design of the regulatory framework for over-the-counter trading activities of digital assets. A second round consultation will be conducted next year before we introduce the licensing regime for VA custodian service providers. The transformative power of AI across different industries and sectors needs no explanation. In the financial market, AI is driving innovation in risk management, enhancing customer services, streamlining operations, preventing financial crime, and much more. This combination of AI and finance is also setting new standards for excellency and innovation. Like any other emerging technologies, we must not just eye on reaping AI's benefits, but should also seek to address the potential challenges, such as cybersecurity, data privacy, the protection of intellectual property rights, and concerns about its impact on jobs and ethics. This is the reason why this morning the government is rolling out a policy statement to set out our policy stance and regulatory approach towards the responsible application of AI in financial services. We consider it appropriate to adopt a dual-track model to AI. We will continue to encourage the adoption of AI to capture the opportunities while assess its associated risks from time to time and mitigate them. In this connection, the government, the financial regulators, and the industry will work closely to provide a clear supervisory framework and create a conducive and sustainable market environment. My colleagues, Chris, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, will be giving you a thorough presentation on this AI policy. Ladies and gentlemen, all I have outlined here are just a glimpse of the many facets of Hong Kong's fintech scene. The rest is for you to explore. I trust the fruitful series of discussions are going to help us envision the future of financial services and inspire us with new possibilities. I wish you all the best of health and business in the years to come. And for our participants from overseas, do enjoy Hong Kong. Autumn is the best timing to visit us, try our restaurants, and also the hiking trails. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chan. Next, to deliver his keynote address, please welcome Mr. Christopher Hui, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, the Government of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Mr. Hui.
Good morning, everyone. Just now, you have heard our Financial Secretary sharing with you our latest development in fintech, and I'm sure all of you are paying to get into this room. So to make sure that you are maximizing the coming 20 minutes, getting the best value out of your money, apart from myself, today we have an AI friend who's locally born, locally bred, at the same time share with us here today. Hello, Evelyn.
Hello, Chris. Hello, everyone.
As all of you know, one of my key roles is to share the Hong Kong success stories. What do you think, Hong Kong? Do you agree that Hong Kong is an international financial center?
Yes, Hong Kong's status as a leading international financial center is backed by its robust financial infrastructure, strong regulatory framework, and prime location in Asia-Pacific. The city's global appeal is clear, with events like Hong Kong FinTech Week drawing 30,000 attendees from over 100 economies.
Today, people will come here not just to talk about fintech generally, but also specifically about AI and blockchain. So do you agree that AI is going to replace humans?
While AI can automate many tasks, it's unlikely to fully replace humans. Unique human traits like creativity, emotional intelligence, and critical thinking remain difficult for AI to replicate.
So back to something more personal note. How do you find my look today?
I can't say for sure, but I believe beauty comes from our inside qualities. It's about confidence and how you carry yourself. If you feel good, that shines through.
So that's a very diplomatic answer. So moving on to the presentation I'm going to share with you. As all of you know, there are key drivers in fintech globally. One is about AI, and one is about blockchain. So if being asked the overall approach that this government is taking in terms of embracing these key new trends, basically what we try to do is to make it or integrate it further into our mainstream finance. But of course, in the course of so doing, there are risks and also opportunities. And that's why what we need to do and have been doing is to make sure that we get the 3 Ps right, which is about policy, which is about the pull, which is about pull factors, and also about the people. And based on this framework, I'm going to share with you all later on around AI and blockchain, what we have done and what we plan to do. As preluded by Paul just now about our policy statement on AI, the key word we want to emphasize here is responsible. Because after all, as I highlighted, there are risks and also opportunities arising from AI application. And in that regard, you may ask, why now? And also why Hong Kong? The answer is very simple. On the one hand, Hong Kong is uniquely blessed under one country, two systems to have a very rich and also vast financial services market. Look at these figures. If we talk about the market cap of stock market, our total deposits in our banking system, and also our asset under management, they are all ranging from 5 to 10 times our GDP. So accessing Hong Kong, you're not just about Hong Kong. It's about a regional and global market, many times of our GDP. And at the same time, another context I'm going to share with you is where we are located. As part of the same country, we are part of the mainland where over 60% of AI patents globally can be found. And at the same time, we are uniquely positioned, connecting East and West, globally positioned to connect with the rest of the world. And that's why if you come here, you are basically at the forefront of East meets West insofar as AI application is concerned. And you may ask, what have we done so far, in particular our private sector, in embracing AI? And today, outside this room, there are 2 booths, or 2 sets of booths. One is about our domestic, locally bred fintech companies, many of them like Eflin. At the same time, another room is accommodating a host of international fintech players. And that's why, if you look at the current adoption rate of AI in our financial service sector, it's as high as 38%, which is far exceeding the global average of 26%. So on that basis, we have a very solid foundation. And the next thing that we should do is to further enhance it and to make sure that it will continue to grow and develop. Again, this backdrop, after this session, you're going to see the responsible AI policy statement that this government has issued in financial services. And the idea is to set out broadly what are the principles and also the approach that we are taking to grow this sector. Fundamentally, we see AI, which can be categorized in 3 Ds. First of all, it is a data-driven business, driven a lot of data. At the same time, it is a double-edged sword, i.e. it presents both risks and opportunities. And for risk, many of them are specific to AI per se, and also some others are generic to different types of financial services. And that's why we, on the one hand, have to be general in terms of application regulation, yet at the same time has to be specific in some areas where AI is presenting peculiar risks, which I'm going to share later. And finally, as all of you can imagine, AI right now is at an early stage. And that's why everyone you talk to are about what they are doing and plan to do. But at the same time, we have to be aware that it is a very dynamic process. Things may change. And that's why when we try to iron out or to lay out our regulatory approach and processes, we have to make sure it's going to move with times. In particular, to ensure that what we have to do is not stifling the development of this sector. And that's why the dual approach or dual track approach that we are taking is on the one hand, as you can see on this slide, about promoting development to ensure that despite the fact that we are already highly utilizing AI in various types of financial services in our sector, from front end, mid end to back end, we have to ensure that we are always at the forefront globally. That's number one. And number two, in terms of extracting challenges, we have to look at not just generic ones, but also specific ones, like hallucination and others, to ensure that we have the right governance and also have the right mitigation measures. So this is all about our AI policy statement and also set the overall framework in terms of how we devise this policy statement. So moving on, about risks and also challenges, definitely, as I highlighted, many of them are generic. As you can see on the left-hand side of this PowerPoint, like data protection, proper governance, and also transparency and protection to customers, and in particular, operational resilience. Because after all, AI is a highly data-driven business, at the same time highly dependent on technologies. So we have to have the right operational resilience plans in place in case of issues and problems in a systemic manner. So all these are rather generic that you normally come across, not just for AI, but generally for any tech application in our financial service sector. But moving on, we also have to highlight in particular some of the specific risks that it's very specific to AI. And that's why on the right-hand side, there are some unique risks, so to speak, that are specific to AI. For example, hallucination, which I'm sure people heard a lot, in terms of people saying something, but actually, which is not true. But at the same time, there is the potential danger of so-called model drift. So the idea is, even though it is AI, it's also very much like humans, where we can get lazier, and also we may get less incentive to work eventually. So of course, when you are human, I can observe from your output and also from your behavior that you are getting lazier. But if we can't explain fully how AI works and it's getting lazier, the output you can get out of it may not be up to the standard you desire, and also potentially may make you going astray in terms of making certain decisions. If you are making decisions based on the analytics being provided by the AI. And that's why these are the risks that are specific to AI that we have to bear in mind. That said, apart from the model drift, and other unique risks about AI is about the prompt injection attack. So idea is that, of course, we try to make sure that AI is working promptly within our set parameters, but at the same time, AI, like humans, we could be tricked. We could be fooled to do something which are not supposed to do. So I'm sure that you have many personal experiences in that regard. So what we try to do is to make sure that the system is something that is subject to human oversight, back to the governance issue, in such a way that we can explain the process, explain the outcome, yet at the same time understand and also prevent or mitigate the specific risk that could be only found in AI. But of course, the final risk, which I'm sure everyone talk about and also have come across, is about deepfakes. But I can assure all of you, so what you see here today is the real me, so it's not a deepfake image or figure. Now we have come to the point where we issue a policy statement on responsible AI. But of course, it's actually a journey in terms of where we are coming from. Because apart from this bureau, other organs of the government, including our Technology Bureau, our Data Protection Commission, and also our Economic Development Bureau, from the patent perspective, has been going all out in terms of devising different measures based on their own purview to ensure that AI can grow responsibly in Hong Kong. And that's why if you look at this journey, so to speak, from the ITIB, which is an Information Technology Development Blueprint, and also from the angle of protection of AI technology development in terms of copyright, and also the protection of personal data, basically it's a journey in terms of how we have to ensure, through a whole government approach, AI can grow responsibly here in Hong Kong. But of course, all these parameters and framework is only relevant when we have the right use cases, when we have the right applications. That's why the government taking the lead is having many of our departments doing their own work in terms of adopting AI in their own domain. Like, for example, our Census Statistics Department basically are using AI to analyze on a regular basis the customs data to make sure that when they see the word apple on the customs declaration, it's not the fruits that you see in the garden, but the Apple computer that is imported to Hong Kong. So all these is something that is relevant, at the same time ongoing. But of course, government aside, and other key stakeholders of our ecosystem is our regulators. So you can see that throughout this process, we have our banking regulator, securities regulator, insurance regulator, MPFA, our pension fund regulator, which have been doing a lot and about to do a lot more, try to regulate or to steer this sector to grow in a responsible fashion. So many of the leaders are here today, and I'm going to leave it to them to share with you what they are going to do on this front. Because after all, what we are trying to envisage is there will be a clear supervisory framework to create a conducive environment for AI application here in Hong Kong. So enough on policies, because I'm sure that people are quite bored if you talk about policies all the time. Another key element is about the pull factors that we have to put in place to make sure that there is a wider adoption of AI in our financial service sector. And in that regard, one key pull factor is to make available the facilities in such a way that people who want to use it can use it. And that's why there are lots of models now being developed. And one of them, which we're going to share more later today and this week, is the LLM model being developed by our HKUST. And the idea is that, first of all, it's going to make their model available for use, not just for the big firms, but also the small firms in the financial service sector, including accounting and others, in such a way that they can try for themselves how AI can improve their work processes. And the other key aspect of that plan is that, apart from availability, by allowing API and also web interface interactions with their system, is to make sure that the system and also at the same time the models to be developed can be really tuned to our local conditions. Because as all of you know, Hong Kong, even though we're the National Financial Center, a lot of the things that we said and a lot of things that we do will be quite peculiar to our own market. Like, for example, if we talk about a stock code with the word W, right? What does it mean globally? It means in Hong Kong, weighted voting right. If you have a stock code with the word S, what does it mean? It means secondary listing. So all these are very peculiar local linguistic requirements and also adaptations that the model has to learn before they can respond to our needs of our intermediaries here. And that's why, apart from offering their model to the wider use, big and small, of our financial service sector, they are also helping to fine-tune the models in such a way that they can learn, at the same time try to attune their models to the needs of the wider community here. Because after all, apart from international players like all of you, we also have to cater for local players. And also for international players to access our market, they also have to understand our local conditions. And that's why this adaptation or also fine-tuning is so important, which will be made available to the broader community of our financial services. Of course, apart from policy and pull factors, another key trend is about people. And you have heard a lot from our chief executive and others about our efforts to draw more talent to Hong Kong. And right now, if you talk about experienced professionals in fintech, in particular, AI and also blockchain is already included in our talent list for various types of our immigration programs. And if you look at the proportion of these talents, which is approved to come in as overall proportion of the admission in financial services, it takes up a percentage as high as more than 30%. And that's why you can see that among the financial service sector, more than a third, or about to be a third, of those allowed to come in are basically with these expertise. But of course, we are not ignoring the local talent, because apart from bringing in the outside talent, we hope them to come here to get embedded, deep-rooted, and also grow our local talent. And that's why the efforts by our universities, as I highlighted just now, is so very important. Another pull factor, which is relevant not just to AI, but also to our virtual asset efforts, is to make sure that we continuously have the right conducive environment for blockchain, in particular their financial application in VA to grow. And so far, we have been going all out, basically, to enhance our role to develop Hong Kong as an asset management center. And among them, we are being asked all the time in terms of what are the incentives, what are the support physically from the government in terms of growing this sector. If you look at right now, our law to provide tax incentives, we already allow tax incentives for some privately offered funds, as you can see on the left-hand side of the PowerPoint, and also for the family investment holding vehicles, so long as they meet our requirements and also they invest in certain assets within those funds and also by those entities, we give them tax concession. So the thing that we are going to do by the end of this year to put in the law is to include in these asset classes more than those that are already found, to include some of those that we are trying to develop here in Hong Kong, like, for example, virtual asset, as you can see in the blue bracket, and also our private credit market, which has been booming. So we hopefully, by expanding the availability of tax concession to this wider scope of asset eligible under our fund regime and also our family office regime, we will be able to add an extra impetus and pull to this market on their development front. Another angle, which is not just about AI and also not just about blockchain in terms of tax concession, is about what we are going to do on the policy front going forward for our virtual asset development. If you recall, 2 years ago, in this forum, we announced a policy statement for virtual asset, and thereafter, we put in place into law a virtual asset trading platform regime, which is about the regulation of a service. And by the end of this year, you will envisage that we will have a regulation on the products front of stablecoins to be put into law. And going forward next year, what we plan to do is, first of all, on the service front, we will regulate in terms of services, custodians, by devising the right regime. At the same time, we also consult the market broadly in terms of the OTC trading of virtual assets. It's another service that's already found in Hong Kong, and hopefully we can, by embracing a broader scope of service regulation, we'll be able to grow this market further. So, as you can see, AI is very powerful, not just allow us to see images beyond ourselves, but also very powerful in terms of words. And that's why today, apart from myself and Evelyn, we also have with you a global figure in literature who's very good at words, Shakespeare, right? So we have asked him in terms of his views, and basically I require him to do a poem on how AI can be responsibly applied in Hong Kong. And also at the same time, it allows us to go back in time, in history, to really talk direct to a famous figure as famous as him. So let's see what he has to say about our policy statement on responsible AI application.
In Hong Kong's realm, a policy shall rise to guide the hand of man with thought divine and govern Ari's dance neath watchful skies. In finance, where the algorithms play, with fairness sought and justice as our light, to guard against the shadows that may sway. With guidance firm, let progress find its way. In harmony with trust, let AI grow and stay.
So the key word, apart from responsible, is trust. And so long as we can trust the application of technology and also to ensure it can be responsibly adopted in Hong Kong, I'm sure that AI, blockchain, and others can continue to grow in Hong Kong. So looking forward to see you next year, as it will be the 10th anniversary of FinTech Week, and we will have more to share with you then. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hui. And now may I call upon Mr. Eddie Yue, Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, to deliver his keynote address.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 9th Hong Kong FinTech Week, an annual event where visions, inspiration, and innovation come together to shape the future of finance. And I'm very happy to see many old and new friends coming together here to talk about this exciting topic. And the theme for this year is Illuminating New Pathway in FinTech. And it captures where we are right now. At a critical juncture right now in our FinTech journey, we are seeing an unprecedented acceleration in financial developments, most of which are fueled by cutting-edge technologies. Having arrived at this point after marking a number of significant milestones along the way, perhaps it's time to just take stock and ask ourselves what's next for FinTech. Before I delve into that question, let's revisit our overarching vision, which is to nurture a vibrant FinTech ecosystem. Like instruments in an orchestra, so do individual players in the FinTech ecosystem. Whether they are agile startups or established institutions, each player has their own part to play. But let's be honest, a vibrant FinTech ecosystem cannot be built overnight. Technology is continuously disrupting everything, including our financial markets. For many of us, embracing change is not always easy. And sometimes the process of driving innovation may in fact feel uncomfortable or disorienting. But change is also a very good opportunity to reflect on how we can use innovation to better serve the public good. Our FinTech 2025 strategy is a very powerful testament to our commitment to innovation. Over the last few years, I think you know that we've already driven some positive transformation in our FinTech ecosystem. And I would like to take the next few minutes to share a few lessons that we've learned along the way. First, innovation is not an end in itself, but a means to solve real-world problems. So we need to define clearly the problem statement and use technology to solve it. Whether it's faster payments or better banking services for SMEs, technology is a means to help transform everyday experience and also bring benefits to the real economy. One area that we in fact have been focusing on the last few years is cross-border payments. The link between our faster payment system and Thailand's prompt pay is one example, providing customers with a seamless cross-border payment experience and bringing us closer to a world of truly borderless transactions. Another example is the cross-boundary eCNY pilot, which allows Hong Kong people to set up your CNY wallets locally with linkage to our FPS for cross-boundary payments. Whether you're buying coffee in Bangkok or whether you're just paying a bill in a Shenzhen restaurant, you can actually make payment as simple as if you were in Hong Kong. Another example of using technology to solve real-world problems is the use of technology to address the long-standing pain point in our data ecosystem. By linking up isolated data islands and combining resources from both public and private sectors, we are expanding and diversifying our data network. The linkage between Hong Kong MA's CDI, the commercial data interchange, and the government's data gateway is already now fully operational, helping to address the industry's need for government data, which in turn can be used to support the credit needs of the SMEs. The second thing that we've learned along the way is the need to be really bold in driving innovation. We need to have an almost explorer mindset to try out innovative ideas, even if they are at a very formative stage. One good example is our project in tokenization, which is just taking shape as we pioneer different use cases and solutions with Project Ensemble to explore and define the tokenization landscape. Working with the industry, we hope to showcase how innovation and regulation can work together to create new opportunities for our financial markets. But a major trend like that inevitably comes with a need for clear guidance and also market confidence. And we value your feedback and views when we navigate this quickly evolving landscape. And that's why we are engaging with market players through both the Ensemble and stablecoin sandboxes to help us formulate the regulatory requirements that are risk-based and also fit for purpose. Our third lesson learned is the importance of collaboration. Innovation thrives only when we come together. Cross-border and cross-sector partnership let us tap into different network effects and our collective knowledge while playing to our individual strength. Numerous collaborations are already underway between the HKMA, different institutions, jurisdictions, and also fintech players both locally and globally. These partnerships, whether they're big or small, have proved to be essential building blocks that support further progress. I've talked about the three lessons that we've learned so far. The need to focus on real-world problems, be bold, and be collaborative. And these same three lessons will be steering us into our next phase of our fintech journey. So what's this next phase? While we have yet to chart out our FinTech 2030 strategy, which will only come next year, I can tell you now there are two areas that the HKMA should definitely focus on in the next few years. The first area is tokenization, including the novel idea of Finternet coined by the BIS. If you don't know what Finternet is, turn to the annual report of the BIS. Chapter 3 there it explains what it is. But let's first make clear that tokenization is not the same as crypto assets. There's been some confusion purely because both are riding on blockchain technology, but don't mix them up, they're not the same. Crypto assets are by nature more speculative, and our stance is to let it grow and develop while putting guardrails around it to protect investors. Tokenization, on the other hand, is an innovative way to record the value and ownership of money and assets in digital form on a programmable ledger. And this will make it much easier for individuals, corporates, and financial institutions to access and trade these assets, thereby creating a much more inclusive ecosystem that benefits everyone, whoever and wherever they are. We believe that tokenization has the potential to create hyper-connectivity between users, data, and services that is essential to drive economic progress. And that calls for a visionary shift to align with the constant advances of technology. The BIS has also recently introduced the Finternet concept that I talked about, and that envisions an internet-like network of interoperable financial ecosystem that places individuals and businesses in the heart of financial interactions, and that's very important. Many of the ideas and concepts from the Finternet, in fact, resonate very closely with the HKMA's tokenization project. We envision a future where tokenization integrates seamlessly with both financial and real-world assets, enabling operations and transactions otherwise impossible with today's technology. Now, you might be wondering, how can something as virtual as tokenization or blockchain connect with tangible assets in the real world? Now, let's take the example of trade finance. If you are an SME importing goods from overseas, traditionally, you face a mountain of paper documents, like bills of lading or invoices. But with tokenized electronic bills of lading, you can now transfer these digital assets to a financial institutions very easily over the blockchain in exchange for funding. Unlike a mere PDF copy of bills of lading, this approach allows you to track real-time shipment status on the blockchain, eliminates all the paper documents, and also reduces the risk for verification, and importantly for banks, lowers the fraud risk. And we are actively exploring this through our Ensemble Sandbox to resolve frictions in trade finance. If that is successful, you can imagine that tokenization can actually bring a lot of SMEs into regional and global trade. Tokenization also ties in with green and sustainable finance, as it may open up new business models and opportunities for businesses and investors. For example, tokenized carbon credit traded on the blockchain can offer better transparency and credibility in carbon data, helping us tackle the issue of double counting, which bedevils carbon trading today. Another example can be found in the infrastructure for the EV industry that Ant is pioneering. By leveraging real-time data from EV charging stations, we can turn the energy generated into a stream of tokenized revenue, and that can be sold to institutional investors. We are looking closely at this model because it's got the potential to be replicated in various settings, which will help mobilize funds to support the transition into a low-carbon economy. The second area of focus is what Chris has just talked about, which is AI and data, and which will help build a smarter and data-driven financial future for everyone. And I would like to expand on these two keywords, smarter and data-driven. When I say smarter, I'm talking about the need to promote digitalization in the banking industry while ensuring that we put the right guardrails around it. And in recent years, the banking industry has been leveraging AI to promote efficiency, to analyze data, and to enhance customer experience. The HKMA stance is very clear. we are committed to encouraging and promoting responsible AI adoption. In fact, back in 2019, we already outlined the high-level principles on the use of AI by banks, and that policy guidance remains highly relevant today. Then we see the explosive uptake of Gen AI in the past 2 years. Gen AI has the potential to transform how financial institutions operate, innovate, and also engage with their customers. As we stand at the dawn of this revolution, the HKMA recognizes the opportunity to provide more targeted support to accelerate Gen AI development by collaborating with the best minds from various sectors. In order to achieve this, we have launched various cross-sectorial initiatives, including our FiniTech series, research projects, and training sessions, all aimed at expediting digital transformation. And financial institutions are already actively exploring the vast potential of Gen AI, ranging from risk assessment to anti-fraud detection and customer interactions. And in August this year, just 2 months ago, we launched the Gen AI Sandbox in collaboration with the Cyberport to unlock the full potential of tailored AI applications catering to the unique needs of the Hong Kong's financial markets. And this innovative platform allows banks to pilot Gen AI use cases in a risk-managed environment, complete with technical support and also targeted supervisory feedback, which is important to encourage new technology. As we move forward, the HKMA will take an interactive and iterative approach, carefully evaluating the results of the sandbox and also sharing best practices among the banks. We will also provide additional supervisory guidance as necessary to ensure that the adoption of Gen AI promotes responsible innovation while maintaining the integrity of the banking sector. So what about data-driven? Because AI is always connected with data. And the aim here is to harness the power of data to reinforce Hong Kong's leading position as a smart digital economy, both locally and globally. And in order to do that, open data flow is key. And domestically, we have 2 initiatives. One is the Commercial Data Interchange, CDI, and the other one is the Interbank Account Data Sharing, IADS. Both will continue to integrate data networks which used to run in isolated silos, and that will help simplify KYC and credit risk assessment, thereby helping the SMEs secure bank financing more easily, faster, and hopefully more cheaply. Meanwhile, we are working closely with the mainland to facilitate cross-boundary data sharing, first by expediting the pilot for cross-boundary credit referencing with the mainland credit reference platforms. And that will allow SMEs with cross-boundary operations to make full use of this full set of credit data to enhance their access to bank financing on both sides of the border. Internationally, we are now collaborating with the BIS Innovation Hub on a project called Project Aperta, which is a new one. It aims to connect domestic open finance infrastructures across jurisdictions to enable secure and consumer-consented sharing of financial data. We believe that seamless cross-border data portability is important to allow consumers, for example, to open overseas accounts much faster and also help speed up international trade at much reduced cost. What the future may hold for us is uncertain, but we are committed to charting the next phase of financial innovation with continuing efforts in at least the 2 areas that I just talked about, tokenization and AI. Ultimately, we envision a borderless fintech ecosystem where innovation will drive business development. To realize this vision, we must dream big and push the boundaries of what is possible. Let's all embrace the spirit of innovation and collaboration as we move together forward. If we liken our fintech journey to an orchestra playing a symphony, we are about to begin the next movement of our fintech symphony. We don't really know what that next movement is, whether it will be a fast allegro or a slow adagio. But what we know is that the stage is already set, the instruments are well tuned, and the world is keenly waiting. Hong Kong's commitment to shaping a vibrant and dynamic financial future has never been stronger. Thank you very much, and I hope that you will gain a lot of useful insights in the coming week. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yu.